Hey guys,
and welcome to another episode of
Masse Art Studios.
I'm Lee.
I'm Jeremy.
And this fool behind us right here is just a shadow. It's actually so dark and rainy here in Texas that even in the day we've put our studio lights on, so that's the reason why there's a big shadow. This is going to be a slightly different episode.
Yes.
Kathleen Creations has asked me to do a blob painting for her. She commissioned a piece of art from me after seeing the ones that we've done here in the house. And so I'll tell you all about that as we get to, or as I get to the dining room table this time around. It's just going to be me pouring because I'm going to show you some recipes, some tips and tricks, how to actually paint a blob painting, so you can do it yourself at home. But before we get to that, one of the things that you guys did ask us to do was show you the results of the Dutch pours that we did the other day. Now, that episode was called Canela Sirocco, We Need You, and you'll see that really from the results. As I feared with Jeremy's, that 24 karat gold did sell up to the point where it basically just was cells.
Yeah, it totally did.
Now, because these studio lights are so bright, it might be a little hard to see.
I'm trying to show you.
But hopefully, and there's a metallic on there as well, so it's super shiny. But it turned into almost like a Dutch pour pearl. Which was a little crazy. Mine was a little less crazed. And there definitely is a composition here, but it was not what I had in mind when I set off to go into this one. So I still believe that we've got better Dutch pours in us. Show Pony, what do you think?
I think we need some low-leaf FP bottles.
I think we do. I actually do have some other versions of those bottles, but I just don't know how big the nozzles are. I think the Lolly FP bottles, the amount of paint you've got on your canvas, the paint recipe, how you blow it out, the actual hairdryer, every single one of these things makes a difference.
It does.
So yeah, please keep trying, because we will.
Yeah, we're going to keep trying.
God loves the trier, and we're going to keep at it. And we've got some inventive and creative ways that we think that we might be able to get some help on the Dutch pours as well.
Absolutely.
We'll tell you more about that at the end of the week. So without much further ado, let's get to the table. Thank you for allowing me the chance to have a go at this again. And you'll see the Show Pony's legs intermittently throughout this episode. So let's get to it. Kathleen, I hope you like this piece. It's coming to you in a few weeks' time. Let's get to the table. Alright, ladles and jelly spoons. So as I've just explained in our intro, this is my most recent blob painting. It was a commission by the wonderful Kathleen Osmore. She's seen some of the blobs that I did and asked me to produce something for her home. I, with her permission, will flash you up a little picture that she sent me to give me some inspiration. And I picked these colours, ran them by her, and she loved them. So you're going to see a lot of real fun neutrals. There's browns, blacks, greys, and this wonderful kind of beige base that I'm putting on this canvas. The brown on the bottom was a custom colour that I made. It was some Van Dyke, some titanium white, and then some silver. So it's got a little bit of a metallic sheen to it. And this is a 15 by 30 inch canvas. I have resined the back of it to help me get a real smooth, flat surface, just to help keep these blobs nice and straight. And this blob recipe is the same that I've used in previous blobs. It is 50% Mod Podge, it's 25% Liquitex gloss varnish, and 25% acrylic paint. And for these acrylics, I've used everything that was Liquitex Basics. So all the paints were the same consistency, what we'd probably consider a level 2. So that's 50% Mod Podge, 25% gloss varnish, and 25% paint. And here you can see I'm laying down the first layer of blobs. This is going to then guide me for all of my other blobs going forward. Sit back, listen to some funky music, and I'll be in and out just to kind of give you an update as to what's happening next. So I really hope that you can see the consistency of the paint here. It's thick enough that it's holding a shape, so it's definitely mounding on this piece, but it's not too thick that it's leaving any kind of mound or rise when I pipe the paint out of the squeeze bottles. It's really important that you get that consistency right, and that recipe that I've been using definitely helps me get there. And I'm changing up the size of the blobs, so big ones and small ones, so that I can kind of get different sizes of blobs as I layer the different colours up. And I'm going to get up to, I think, 5 layers of paint on this canvas. So this is just 24 hours later, so with this recipe these blobs will dry enough that you can pipe another layer on after just 24 hours. I have 3 lighter colours and 3 darker colours, and my intention is to alternate between those 3 colours on each layer. Oh my goodness, clean up on aisle, what in the heck? So for some reason, both the light brown and the dark brown, as they were sitting, kind of, I guess, something to do with maybe the temperature in the room that I was using, made the bottles swell up. So when I opened up the tube, it basically squirted that paint all over the composition. So now what I'm doing is cleaning up and getting all of the paint off this canvas. And you might also notice there that I also smudged my grey. The great thing about this is that these blobs are dry enough that I can kind of, you know, wipe the paint off. It was actually a damp piece of paper towel that I used there, which I probably shouldn't have done. It should have been dry. And you'll notice that as I do drag across this bigger blob, it does move. It is dry, it is dry enough to pipe onto, but it is still a little wet and damp underneath. So I've got to be a little bit more careful if I ever do this again, but I do manage to fix it, do manage to get everything back to kind of how it should be, and then get back to piping again. So a little hairy of a moment. I was definitely sweating as I was doing this, but I managed to fix it and it looks perfectly fine now. So these are my 3 what I'd consider darker colours. That is a black, it's a graphite, which is that metallic grey, and then it's the raw umber. There's definitely a technique here to how you squeeze in. Definitely practice. This is now my 3rd kind of composition, my 3rd piece, so I feel like I'm getting this technique down. But you want to squeeze these blobs out in a way in which you're still leaving some of the colour underneath, but squeezing enough that it kind of looks uniform. And yeah, it's not as easy as it looks, folks. There's definitely a little bit of a technique to it, and you've also got to remember that as you squeeze it out, it'll also kind of just spread out a little bit, not too much because of the consistency of the paint, but just a little. So you've got to be careful just how you squeeze these out. Practice makes perfect with these for sure. So after having an opportunity to kind of sit back and have a look at how it was going, what I decided was, after consultation with Kathleen, that there was still way too much negative space. And I'd only done 2 layers of blobs here, so what I decided to do was now go back into some of the spaces where there weren't blobs and add some smaller blobs. I showed Kathleen a couple of pictures of some Mike Hammer blobs, definitely one of my inspirations for any of these blob paintings, and asked her which she preferred, one of them with tons of negative space and one of them that had 0 negative space on it, and we decided on something in between. So taking an extra little bit of time now just to add another layer. I'm going to wait for this to dry, and then I'm going to put the second layer on these new blobs, and then we will have all caught ourselves up. I still wasn't happy with the negative space that I was seeing. It's really funny, until you add the layers of colour, you really kind of can't see how much colour there's going to be on the canvas. So I'm adding a few more extra white blobs here as well. I'll wait for these to dry, and then I'll put another colour on top of these ones also. Here's the show pony trying to get some TikTok footage for me, some dynamic blobbing. But as you hopefully could see between the previous kind of clip and this one, those colours do absolutely dry darker. They actually dry to the tube. When you mix these colours with the Mod Podge and the gloss varnish, they tend to look cloudier, like lighter, because the Mod Podge is clearly not clear until it dries. But as these do dry overnight, they definitely become more to their truer colour. So just remember that as you're picking colours for these blobs. What you'll see in the tube is really what you'll get as that Mod Podge and that gloss varnish dries. And then the camera battery died. So as you can see, the third layer is now dried. So this is another 24 hours later. And now I'm adding back in a fourth layer. Some of these smaller blobs, that'll be the last layer for them because there's just not enough blob there to add any more paint. But some of the large ones will get a fifth and sixth layer. This is now going back to the darker paint. So I've got that graphite, the black, and the dark raw umber here. And trying to make sure that each blob has got at least, you know, not the same colours repetitively over and over again, that everyone has at least one of the three colours in there. So which is why you'll see me kind of constantly swap over the bottles between the colours. What you might also see in the bottom left hand kind of corner is one of the upturned squeeze bottles. So right next to it, it's really hard to see, but I've got a plastic cup that I've cut a hole out of. And I store these tubes upside down. It's actually a tip that I saw on First Art Studio. And by storing them upside down, what that helps is it kind of lets all the bubbles rise up to the top of the squeeze bottle. So as you're squeezing this out, you don't get a ton of air bubbles into each of your blobs, which really helps keep that really wonderful shape. Speeding this up nice and fast for you guys now so that you can see me go through this, and now onto the what is, I think, for some of these blobs, the final layer before the composition is finished. So I actually decided, because everything was so light, the canvas was the light and then the beige was the original disc of blob colour, I wanted to finish on some of the darker colours. So here I am now putting the finishing touches to Kathleen's piece. Once this has been completely dried, well, probably within the next kind of 2 or 3 weeks, I'm then going to gloss varnish it, put this in a really wonderful frame, and it'll be winging its way to Kathleen to hang on that wall. Thank you, Kathleen, for asking me to do this. It was so much fun. Hope you guys enjoyed watching it too. So there you have it, folks.
There you have it.
Well, and actually here you have it.
Yes.
This is the finished piece. Now, it has dried again another at least 48 hours since I last poured it. So these blobs will not move, but we are still going to be a little careful because we don't want to mess this one up, because it's taken me, what, over a week and a half to get here.
Yes.
So here she is, the wonderful, wonderful blobs. I love this. Clearly it's really fun straight on, but you just get all that excitement from it when it's at this angle, because you just see all the height.
Get closer.
Of the little blobs. I don't know if we're going to be able to, it'll probably go out of focus, but you can see them, and I've got it all the way throughout the video too. I didn't tell you, well, I said it in the commentary, but on the back I did resin this. Reason being that I really wanted the top of the canvas to be as flat as I could get it.
Yes.
So I resined the back of the piece too. So let me take this off you very gently, Show Pony.
Yep. It's so pretty. I just love it.
So there we have it. And you now know all the information that you're going to need to be able to create your own blob painting at home.
Absolutely.
So follow all the information that was through the commentary in this episode, including the recipe and some hints and tips. And really, you can absolutely do the same thing.
Yeah.
Practice, 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 as always with all the techniques, and you'll get there.
Yeah.
So, people, without much further ado, we're going to let you get on with your days. The only thing I'm going to ask you...
It's what?
Well, the only thing. I'm going to ask you a few things. Like and subscribe and comment.
Please.
If you like this video, share it. I would love people to see more blob paintings, because I think they're a lot of fun and I'll be doing a lot more. But also come back on Sunday at 11 o'clock Central, which is 9 o'clock Pacific or 12 o'clock noon Eastern, because we've got something very exciting to tell you.
Yeah, we do.
We do.
It's going to be a big announcement.
And there's going to be 8 further premieres on that day. We'll give you more information a little closer to the time. So it's our Fluid Art Experience announcement day. You won't want to miss it.
Yes.
We'll hopefully see you then. Until then, guys, have a great week.
Yeah.
We'll see you on Sunday.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
So what's a Patreon?
What is a Patreon?
Let me tell you. So the Patreons are a very special group of people.
They are.
They are here with us chatting all the time in the lives. You'll see them and you'll know these names as we run through them. But they wanted to have a little bit of an extra support, a little bit of an extra look at what goes on behind the scenes. So our Patreon account, completely separate, and at certain different levels, you get different perks.
Yes.
So at the bronze and silver levels, for example, you might get sneak peek pictures and sneak peek videos, things that happen behind the scenes in the studio. At the gold level, you get that, plus you also get a live stream once a month.
Yes.
Access to a WhatsApp group where we all sit and chat and kind of just
so much fun.
Talk about pieces and exchange motivations and color theory and all that kind of stuff. It is a lot of fun. And then at the platinum level, you get all of that, and then you also get a live tutorial once a month. So lots and lots of really fun stuff that isn't necessarily what you get to see on the YouTube account, but it is something a little separate.
Yes.
So we have some special thank yous to do. For our gold pourers, we have Crafty Chicken Mom,
Amy.
You've got Elizabeth Gilano, Gillian Kennedy, you've got Gloria Salaki, you got Jane Klein, Kelly Stowell, or Feral Arts. You've got Kirsten Blackley. You've got Linda Seriani. We've got Mary Doulis, or Mama Doulis.
Mama Doulis.
We've got Patsy Petrelli, Pocket Rocket. We've got Nate Bright, who you all know and love's got his own channel. You've got Sharon Luffy, Stephanie Hancock. With those hugs. We've got Tammy Hasbrook. We have Terry Leshner. And we have Trisha West. And
in the platinum level, we have the awesome Elaine Burton.
Super awesome.
We have Janice Pittman.
And Steve.
Pittman. We have Susan Chigori.
Oh my gosh, she's bought so many pieces from us.
I know.
Her walls are covered in art.
I know. And we have Susan Shepperson.
Oh my goodness, you all know Susan Shepperson. She's at every single premiere. So thank you, Susan. We see you all, know that. And to all of you guys and everyone else that you'll see here down below, we really, really, really do appreciate you. It is with your support that we keep our stocks of canvases and paint coming. And it really does mean that we can just continue throwing up content for you all.
I know.
So thank you so very much, guys. You guys truly are the best.
It helps us so much.
It really does. Thank you, guys.